The Party Poker Premier League is reaching its conclusion tonight. The final heat plays out here in the Canadian city of Montreal. This season, the Playground Poker Club is hosting the Party Poker Premier League. It's one of the most exclusive events in the game. Tonight, Heat 6 gets underway, and we find out who goes straight through to the final, who is eliminated, and who gets a second chance in the heads-up stages. The pressure is certainly on all of our Premier League players.
You can't play these things unless you have the expectations to win.
This should be a really good Premier League for me.
I'd love to have a Premier League title under my belt.
I'm just trying to win every tournament all the time.
I think some of them are the best in the world, but I think some are clearly not.
I got the grind on my mind, and I'm just ready to go.
How sick are you in the head?
Whoops. Got my Premier League record in jeopardy, Scott.
It's been a fun Premier League.
Oh, one time, can I get there?
So far, 5 heats have played out, and we've witnessed heartbreaks and triumphs as players have made a bid to climb the league table. Jesse May is here to remind us of the game so far.
We have seen success for the Premier League newcomers. In the opening heat, Jeff Gross went straight to the top of the league standings. Jason Koon took down Heat 2. Heat 3 saw Sorel Mizzi scoop the maximum 14 points.
Is this it?
This feels it.
It feels like it's it.
Feels like it's it.
GG, buddy.
In Heat 4, Dan Coleman beat Phil Locke for the win.
Am I out?
I think so.
And last time, Brian Rast won the match and kept his Premier League dreams alive.
Get me off my game, Rusty. Good match, man. Good game.
On the other end of the spectrum, it has been a disaster for the defending champion Dan Shak, who has had 2 last-place finishes.
I'm all in.
That was a blow-up.
Things haven't gone well for Vanessa Selbst either, suffering some bad beats along the way. Now, the players have arrived. They are closely assessing the league standings and ready to get the last heat underway. The last heat in Premier League poker, always the most exciting because players have their heads buried in the sheets, permutations abound, and we're in a situation right now where every Premier League player can still make the top 8. I'll be joined by Jason Koon, who's going to be on a knife edge. He cannot control his destiny, but Jason, you're not in bad shape, 29 points in the bag.
No, I'm in really good shape. At least at worst case scenario, I'll be playing heads up, and heads up's one of my fortes, but let's hope that it doesn't come to that.
I mean, we're in a situation where some players have a very clear path through, and some people it's not so sure. For me, Brian Rast, it's very weird because even though he's in good shape, having 20 points, there's some permutations that see him getting not even the top 8, and then obviously he has to be careful because he can still make top 4.
Yeah, it's a strange dynamic. It's basically like fold until you're locked up for top 8 and then turn it on and go for the final table lock.
Everything is obviously going to depend on what happens early. And for me, you look at Vanessa Selbst because she's only got 9 points and she probably needs a win. Yep. But then again, sometimes she can get second. Yep. And for me, it's kind of going to be like, she's going to have to pick on guys in the early stages.
Yeah, I had a talk with Vanessa coming in, and she's going to bring it. I can promise you that.
Not only are the roads difficult, but they will change as players get knocked out. So just stay tuned to see what happens.
It's time to get our final heat underway, and we're guaranteed some great action as our 8 players do battle here at the Playground Poker Club in Montreal. Let's get the cards in the air.
This is where it all comes down. Premier League Poker 7, heat number 6, and everybody still in with a chance to win this Premier League. Vanessa Selbst, interestingly enough, she's in a spot she's been in before. She needs to win to stay in this Premier League, and yet there are permutations that see a second getting through for her. Most of them involve Jonathan Duhamel begging or getting 7.
Yeah, absolutely. She's just going to go out and just play
play the way that she knows how to play best and just fire away at the beginning.
Obviously, the dynamics are going to change, but let's talk about what's probably going to happen right off the bat. I feel like, and tell me if you agree, that Vanessa Selbst might be choosing to open like 90% of pots in this before a player gets knocked out.
Yeah, it looks that way. Outside of Dan Shak, basically everyone has something to lose, and I think that they are just going to be in the coffin. They're just going to have to sit there and let her chip away, and I believe it would be optimal for her to come out and just blast away for sure, especially the first level.
Jonathan Duhamel's in an interesting spot because he's got 17 points. You would look at his score and say he's nearly guaranteed to make the top 8.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is interesting because Vanessa's in a spot where everyone's expecting her to open 100%.
Yeah.
So, like...
Yeah, she's not going to get a fold out of Seiver here, I don't think.
Right, and Seiver's in an interesting spot. He's currently, 10th in the Premier League standings with 11 points. So even though he knows he has to do well here, he's also in a spot where, like, a 4th or a 3rd could keep him in this.
Yeah, so it looks like he's not going to be too afraid from clashing here. I assume he's going to call here, ace-high being the best hand and a bunch of backdoors.
And right now, his range for Vanessa is any 2, and that's why ace-high feels good here.
Absolutely, yeah. He just has so many cards that he can continue with on the turn, that being one of them.
Wow.
Yeah. I assume that Vanessa's just going to keep value betting. The 7 is good for Scott's range, but he just has so much ace-high and straight draws, and...
She's checked.
Yeah, that's reasonable, too, just to pot control, because he does have all the 7s in his range.
Seiver would be one of maybe the 2 guys at the table, Seiver and Shak, who she's not 100% sure what their intentions are.
Yeah. It's such a beat.
Sick.
Yeah, it's just going to go check call here, I think.
Is it a value bet spot for
Yeah,
Scott?
100%. I mean, Jack 10 misses, 10-8 misses, 9-6 misses, 4-5, 5-6, all the straight draws miss.
Check.
Wow, he's decided to check it. Now, that can only be a tactical check as far as, that ICM thing where he feels like chips in his stack are so much more valuable than making money.
That and Vanessa is a very tricky player, and that just goes to show you Scott's respect for Vanessa's ability to go for a big, massive check raise on the river, and he just don't want to put himself in a position to make a big decision right now.
She is sneaky enough to
Her
do
river
that.
check raise is about as high as they get, and she's very balanced, and she'll get you sometimes.
So, do you have a little bit of experience playing Selbst? I mean, she's a no-limit hold'em tournament beast.
Yeah, she's a monster. She's absolutely fearless, and she's really, really smart. And yeah, I mean, that's a value bet for Scott against almost everyone else in the tournament. It just goes to show you how tough she is. So there's Sorel open folded 7s.
Wow.
So that shows you a lot.
He's aware.
Right.
Yeah, he's aware. He's going to be trying to ladder.
And Jeff Gross is a guy who, to me, I think you can. There's reasons to fold this, and I'll tell you why. Gross is going to be the chip leader at this final table with any finish except for a bagel. So why would he want to move chips while there's still 8 people at this table?
Yeah, it's a tricky spot because him and Antonio are kind of both in not a similar situation at all, but Antonio needs the ladder and Jeff just he just really needs 2 points, right?
He just needs, he wins tiebreaker, so he needs 1 point.
Yeah, he absolutely must fold this hand.
I feel like, he should get a cab and go have some breakfast.
For sure. No, I completely agree. You're right. This is definitely not a good call.
And Vanessa has flatted here, and so has Dan Shak.
Yeah.
And this is just based on the fact that they feel like they can put pressure on later in the hands with anything.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. And she knows that she's dealing with strong pre-flop opening ranges, so a lot of her edge is going to be derived post-flop when they're like, oh, I just have 1 pair with my jacks and the board just came king high, and then she can get them to check fold rather than 3-bet pre, and then a lot of the times they're just going to have a huge hand that she has to deal with. Just trying to outmaneuver them post-flop.
Just a massive, massive spot for Esfandiari, and yet you get in these extreme spots. Is this such a massive spot that he's willing to put his Premier League on the line with this hand on the flop?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But it's not going to be, he's not going to be put in that situation. Vanessa's going to peel 1, and I think that she may even find a fold on the turn.
So Vanessa would almost be more likely to put pressure on him with a hand that's like sort of drawing to the nuts than a hand like this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we know there's no good scenario for Vanessa since Jeff folded pocket nines and a queen just has her check marked.
Antonio's also an interesting spot because he does need some points. He's not super scared about baggling in that, you know, he has to do something at this table.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he's got 15 points.
C2 bet
It
36,000.
looks like he needs, you know, a top 5 finish.
Yeah, so a reasonable finish gets him in there. Yeah,
Let's call.
You don't like this call.
I don't, but it is tough. I mean, there's 2 flush draws out there. And Antonio does apply pressure. You know, he could just be barreling a value hand that she beats. Like, well, now she beats absolutely nothing. This is actually going to go check a bunch.
What would he do if she went sick
Yeah,
there?
I honestly think if it goes check, she should just go all in. It's really, really sick. I think it's a very easy all-in because Antonio never checks a flush on the river. He doesn't want to lose value from a hand like ace-jack or something like that, or ace-queen that would just check back. It looks like by that facial expression she just made that she may just check back. Yeah, that makes me sad.
She thought about it, and I guess her
I don't
decision...
know how I'm calling that turn, not shove that river.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll
That's
call
what
it,
she
you're folding.
says, as she second-guessed herself there, Jason.
Yeah, it's hard on you because she knows that her image lately, she hasn't been making a lot of big hands and she's been getting picked off. And it's hard for any tough player or any poker player just to keep bluffing whenever all of their bluffs are getting called. And
You're just gonna fold.
I mean, I didn't want to see a shove, I'll tell you that. Yeah, it was the
I
absolute
know,
worst
I
card.
know, of course. Yeah,
I thought you might turn a queen into a bluff, I don't know.
yeah, that's what.
And
I
I'll
was
tell you,
obviously
you know,
I
maybe
should've
she
done.
thought to herself, even though she's only got 224,000 in chips, her situation, her dynamics are so good, while this is 8-handed, that she actually is quite likely to pick those chips back up.
yeah, I still think that with the money laying in the middle, Antonio having a capped range, she should just go all in.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've seen what Phil Locke would have done in that spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fold.
And JG will not be joining.
Fold.
So Sorel Mizzi's flattered the Vanessa Selbst Open. This is how he's going to deal with this.
I had a good day,
Jason, and I mean,
wow, this could get interesting.
Vanessa might be willing to just, even if she misses, to just pound this on the turn.
Yeah. I mean, especially a 3 or a 4, the heat's going to be. I think she's just going to continue any turn rather than maybe ace of diamonds or something. She would just check fold.
But what I mean is, if she puts Sorel and ace, king, ace, queen here, she might go for the all-in on the turn. I mean, that's not out of. Is that?
Yeah, this is unreal. That's out of the question just because that would be such a massive bet. But by the river, you could definitely see an overbet, although it doesn't make a lot of sense because Sorel could just be sitting there with king, queen of clubs or whatever. Usually, you're only going to see the overbets in a spot where the villain can't have the nuts.
Obviously, he needed to think about this possibility before he put the chips in on the flop.
Absolutely.
He could have a hand as good as this and still...
I think this is a full pre-flop. I really do.
I completely agree with you.
He's just going to flat, of course.
He's actually, I mean, he's in the spot of everyone that he should just be folding every hand, right? I mean, if he gets a middle of the pack finish, he's a lock for the final table.
Yes,
exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and there's such a big downside for him, and the upside is kind of...
That happens so often in these Premier Leagues where people become...
Oh, my God.
Oh, my Lord. They get unsensitive
to that. This is
unbelievable.
They just absolutely unbelievable.
I actually think Vanessa's out of this Premier League.
This is so sick.
I mean, that is the...
Poor Vanessa's just been running into it.
That is... I mean, she can't really...
she's going to bet fold the river. For sure, she's going to bet fold the river.
I'm really kind of gutted for... I don't think she deserves this.
This is so sick. Guessing it's around 80,000.
And for Sorel, he's got the stone-cold nuts, which is just, like, ridiculous.
Yeah, so he's just going to shove, and she's going to, like, be like, why does this always happen to me, and fold.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seat 1, re-raise all in.
Oh, that happened. Look at Vanessa.
Yeah, of course. So now she's going to... Oh. She's going to fold. It's so sick, but she's going to fold.
And yet, in her mind, like, would he? You know, he's not supposed to have ace jack here. No, obviously he does, but
just check.
Vanessa's got to get away from this.
He's never bluffing.
Never, and she's gonna get away from it.
I don't have much of a hand.
Why would he bluff here? Is there any way
He knows that she can't go out, but that's not a good enough reason by itself, you know.
I don't have much.
The way the hand
I
went.
feel like you're maybe bluffing.
Oh, come on, Vanessa.
Oh, okay.
What's that?
But maybe you're bluffing. Who are you? How sick are you in the head?
Some couple of water.
Is the question. How sick are you?
Another bowl of soup.
What's the answer to that question? How sick is the
You sicker than me?
Mizzimator?
Sorry, guys.
Mizzi's great
I'm
at
actually
poker,
thinking about it.
but he plays smart. He plays
I'm
disciplined.
actually thinking about it.
There's no clock, Vanessa. Take your time. I love watching the master work. You know, I want to know what's going on in the brain, so just take your time. You know?
Never mind.
Do we?
Atta girl.
Wow, she is an outstanding poker player, Vanessa Selbst. She figured it out. She got away from it. And Sorel, Mizzi.
Yeah, that's
how good is Shak?
Just so sick.
I think it would have to be even.
I like how she says I don't have much of a hand either, which is pretty cool.
Antes, please.
Like, yeah.
I'll pick ace jack.
Okay, I'll take deuces.
I had King Jack, but I thought he might be turning a worse Jack into a
She said
bluff.
I had King Jack. Yeah, right.
No, I'm not. I've given enough.
Serious pain
Yeah, there
for
was a
Vanessa
deuce.
Selbst, and she's just going to carry on because there is no net
He's
for
calling with
her
an
here
ace, you think?
tonight.
Maybe he's folding an ace. Would you have folded an ace?
This is Vanessa's second Premier League season. The last time she played this event in Vienna, she narrowly missed out on a final table place when Jungleman beat her. Now, she is determined to get through for a chance to be crowned champion in Montreal.
Last time I was in this position, it was a lot of fun. You know, I somehow got to heads up, pretty much played flawlessly heads up and just didn't run that well, so I'm really looking forward to giving it another go. Premier League hasn't gone that great for me so far. The first couple of heats I went in with a plan that was basically to play pretty tight.
Wow!
I just haven't really been able to make any traction, whether I haven't been getting a lot of hands. When I do, I run into bigger hands, so it's been frustrating. It would be everything to get to the final table. This is the exact situation I had last time. I had to come in, I had to win the final heat in order to move on. I almost did it then, and if that happens again, and if I'm able to get there, that would be awesome.
Plenty more action to come from Heat 6 after the break.
You could hurt me a lot more than I could hurt you.
We'll each play our own game.
Have Alex against the nuts.
Have the nuts. I'm not thinking about it. Don't worry.
Welcome back to Party Poker Premier League 7. The last heat is underway, and it's all about winning those last crucial points. Over the past 6 seasons of Premier League, we have seen some of the most exciting tactical plays in the last league matches, as point permutations cause some unusual moves. Everyone has their own strategy. In Season 2, we saw Roland de Wolf folding all his hands. A monkey took Luke Schwartz's seat, so he wasn't tempted to play and ruin his chances of making the final. There have been some crazy folds, especially when Yevgeny Timoshenko mucked the kings.
All right, Sky, can you shut up for a bit? Because I'm actually thinking.
Eugene Kachalov decided his best tactic was to go all in on every hand. No one wants to repeat Nenad Medic's blunder when he knocked himself out of the event back in Season 3.
I don't even know. I guess I'm rooting for you. I don't even.
Literally, you can't make the top 8 now, is that right?
Yeah.
Nice
Cheers, guys.
hand.
Good luck.
Let's do one. This one's not that bad.
So back to this season and the opening stages of this last league match, everyone can still qualify for the final, and they all have their own strategies to try and get there. They have studied the league table and each know what they need to do in order to win through to the next stage. At this moment in time, however, the players seem to be a little distracted by side bets. Or could this be another tactical move?
Seat 6 raise 4,000.
We got all the end.
I think it's us 4 down here, Scott.
I would like to play.
Yeah, it's us 4.
You can watch.
Fold.
Wait, we need Jungle. Jungle! Where's Jungle?
He's in the booth. He can write down.
Fold.
Yeah, he's in, oh, no, he can't.
Oh, he's in the booth.
Oh. Coleman, you want to stand here?
So
and be
Rast will just call here pre. He won't re-raise.
Yeah. Just stand between JG and Duhamel.
Yeah, stand up here.
Coleman, I thought you were in the booth sweating the hands. I've had some tough. I don't understand why he needs to stand. I could have been in there a few times.
We need the brain here.
So,
That's fine.
There's Warren Lush.
Mr. Lush, and obviously everyone knows about Warren Lush, that he used to be Tony G's assistant. Now that Tony G is not in the Premier League,
Go up and do
Warren is looking for a new job.
Yeah, we need jungle.
Tony, by the way, is running for Lithuanian something, state council, mayor, government.
See, I just do not agree with this play by Brian at all.
I mean, explain it to me here.
I mean, if she rips it in, you're running 60-40 for over a third of your stack.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's just, if he was sitting there with kings, I would completely understand.
Oh, wow.
See, now he's going to get punished.
And Rast has been so tactically clever this entire Premier League.
This is a significant mistake. It's just such a beautiful spot too to call there from the big blind and then flop an ace and let her barrel off. You know,
that's the thinking.
She should rip it here too because
for sure she loves it.
I mean, she's just gonna bet call the flop.
I would want to bet. Like, if there was
She's 40% against aces. She's not worried about it. She's just gonna bet call.
It's just a chemical thing. Some people can't.
This is a good card for Vanessa.
He's kind of saying to her that he has aces now, which is kind of weird, isn't
She
it?
bet so small on the flop that he would peel 2 overs.
Yeah, he would peel.
If she bet bigger and he called, yeah. I mean, I think he would just check shove with aces.
That's the bet.
Yeah.
6 pick.
Whoa, see,
I think she's worried about the overpair.
No, but that's like the real test. You know?
Good.
Anyone can do that for us.
This is gonna go. I think this is honestly gonna go check, bet, call. Yeah, I think he's gonna pay off with ace high.
Wow, could he actually try and turn his hand into a bluff? Feeling like
if he does bet.
I don't think it makes a lot of sense just because she is so shallow that I can't ever imagine him check calling kings or aces.
But she might fold thinking, wow, he's so sick he's trying to extract value.
I honestly, I think she might
queens?
pick him off. I think she might pick him off. Because queens shove the flop. They don't. She doesn't.
They don't like float around and let the little peels.
If he's checking aces, kings. See, I think if she would have took a little bit more time and thought about that, because she had 100K, and there was how much was in there on the flop? Like 60,000 or something.
I feel like she's misplayed that hand. If she's intending to do that, she needs to actually just shove the flop.
Shove the flop,
or even the turn.
I think she should call the river.
She didn't think that he was capable of bluffing, of making a bluff.
That hurts.
Yeah, but it's just one of those things. Like she's so shallow. After that much money's went all on pre-flop. If he checks the flop, he's checking to go all in with aces or kings because. Because 6 and 8, a jack, the turns and rivers are so ambiguous that you can't make good decisions. So you need to turn it into a one-street game. Whereas after he's check called the flop, I mean, I think he looks like he has exactly what he has.
Wow.
Because she bet so small, she kept his range really wide. She kept the ace-king in there, and then, yeah, he's going to bluff with it.
Ooh, Vanessa, that hurt.
And Duhamel's just doing what he's supposed to do, being visible. Which hurts, because I need him to go out real soon. It's like Seiver with what he knows.
Yeah, I mean, Mizzi's going to peel the flop.
He's super crushing or super behind. He's not like, well, I'm middle of the... His opponent has an ace and he's crushed, or he doesn't, and he's crushing.
Well, that's true, but from Seiver's, I mean, Mizzi's range is a little wider now. It doesn't have to be super strong pre-flop because he's got so many chips.
He's got 131 cushion from
so
the average.
You don't really, you're confident that your 3 aces are ahead here.
Yeah, you
most
feel
of the time.
You definitely.
I still could see. I was going to say I could still see Scott check calling here just to keep in the hands that he has near drawing dead, like King 10 or King Queen. And then pot control against all the aces that have him beat. So like Phil was talking about saying it's a way ahead, way behind scenario. Checking accomplishes good things for both.
Because you get the well, Mizzi's not going to be bluffing here that often, but you lose less when the guy's. The funny thing is that king, you have to remember when you have the ace, the king is actually a good card because if your opponent had a king anyways, he was winning.
Seiver, another one of those players who seems to have made very good tactical decisions throughout this Premier League. He's gotten a bit unlucky.
Yeah, the blog.
What do you see him doing here, Jay?
Check call.
You see a check call.
Check call. It's the same thing on the turn. It feels like it. You're not really getting the value. Mizzi's going to see if his hand's good, especially with the king.
Yeah, it's just going to show down. He might bluff since the jack is like the worst hand he could get with to the river. Queen 10 makes a straight. King Queen at least makes a pair of kings.
Lunkin vibes. Lunkin does it.
And Seiver takes it. Obviously, Seiver chipping up. bad news for people like Esfandiari. Esfandiari really needs to beat both Seiver and Duhamel, so he's not happy to see Seiver doing well, and Seiver actually looking quite good right now. This all really doesn't play into Phil Locke's hands, who needs poor showings out of that core group of guys that are in the elimination zone: Esfandiari, Seiver, and Duhamel. And yeah, Vanessa's just, it's like her rhythm is a little off and the deck's not cooperating.
Well, yeah, and I just think that she needs to understand she has a 40 big blind stack now, so she doesn't have that terminal risk anymore, and it's better like still to open up, but not be opening 8 deuce suited under the gun.
She should look for spots to actually maybe open shove 40 bigs, or even wait till the blinds get a little bigger. And
I think just keep stealing, but steal with more reasonable hands.
Hands that have showdown get to the end like durable, something a little more durable.
You can see the lack of fear she's instilling right now. This is a 4-way flop. They're almost like, do your worst, Vanessa. It doesn't scare us.
And this is the most like, I don't know, decision-y moment for Duhamel, who really needs to not come and bust out. He now has a flush draw.
Yeah, again,
he loves the free card. He's going to keep this putt super small.
I would have preferred Vanessa betting the flop, just because she can bet the flop and fold to a raise very happily, and on any turn 9 or greater plus any diamond, she's just going to be like, the hand's going to lose its value and she's going to check fold anyways. So I would just treat the 8 as almost a semi-bluff and just try to, 1, accomplish where you're at in the hand, and 2, just like take the pot now, because she's just going to have to check fold it on so many streets.
Now, could Duhamel go for value at this point? He
100%,
really knows he has the best hand.
150%. I like his check on the turn a lot.
The non-diamond peeling in the river adds a super lot of comfort.
Yeah, and Vanessa's going to pay off here, I think.
It's a super bluff catcher. It's basically...
really, why would he ever bluff in this spot?
I mean, I don't know if he's ever value betting worse. I don't think he is, but she's getting 3-1. The hand's checked all the way down to the river. He could just be making a random stab.
That's a good runoff, too, for 8 deuce.
Yeah,
Make it 2 pair. It's not whatever.
Yeah, that's a good fold. It's a good fold. I wouldn't have faulted her for calling.
2 people behind her.
Fold.
Duhamel takes one down. He looks like he's kind of, to me, he looks a lot more perked up and lively than he has in the earlier heats. Maybe his A game is in play tonight.
Maybe he's really looked at it and really knows he's not even supposed to play hands. Just survive and make some money.
Of course, he is the local boy come good, Jonathan Duhamel. I mean, a lot of people, everyone knows how big Canadian poker is, especially the French Canadians. And Duhamel is, in some ways, kind of the godfather of that scene. That, you know, when he won the World Championships, it really spurred on Montreal poker.
Yeah, the guy's just an absolute legend.
No difference.
It's nothing, but it wouldn't look good on
So, Mizzi's allowed to open this hand. He finally gets a hand that he should be raising.
I certainly hope Vanessa doesn't pick up the 2 5s right now. I really hope she does.
Obviously, it's really
Anybody want to start? Is Coleman in?
Coleman's done.
Gross won't lose a lot. He'll just call here.
How about we have to go up by...
He needs to be super careful, I'm telling you.
All right, you have to go by at least
I'm telling you, I mean, like, on a king-high board...
This will go call, too. He won't 3-bet this. He'll just set on it.
It's on Scott, hold on.
They're good and deep.
But 2 7s is a way better hand to try and nut up the flop than ace king, right?
Yeah, but ace king's just, I mean, I think you do have to call. You do have to call 6K. He's in position. Wow,
Dude,
he actually.
Why has Seiver done this?
Gross is going to get saved here. Gross is going to get
yeah, I tend to never question something Seiver does just because he's so good, but this is this one I would have to ask him about. This one kind of baffles me.
You know how much you're playing, Scott? 360.
Do you think maybe it's a straight equity play with the chips in the pot? I'm going to invest 30 to win some chips and then shut down if I get it.
No, I don't think so, because the hand it just plays better in a single race pot where you can flop a set rather than, let's say you get called in the 3-bet pot. Now you have 2 7s, and almost every single board that you don't flop, like pair and open ender or set, you're just check folding or just playing in an awful spot out of position to a good player.
I don't know how long Jeff Gross is going to tank here, but this is a fold 100,000% of the time.
Yeah, he'll
right?
smile and laugh and then just throw his card in the muck.
What do we think about this all-in play? You're only getting maybe called by too narrow a bandwidth. It feels like you're losing a ton of value from a guy that will maybe. What do you think?
Phil, don't you think that he's put Seiver on that
kings
sort of
or
hand?
queens?
Well,
more likely.
Well, yeah, I think the thing is, honestly, Mizzi is like, if I win this pot, I'm gonna have 473,000 chips. I'm gonna be able to fold up 2 spots and lock up this final table. I don't really want to take an 82 to 18 to bust or be crippled.
Right. Yeah. So he's just like, these chips have
he's
more
like, give me the
long-term
chips.
value.
Give me the chips. I'll fold up the ladder and be at the final table.
Yep.
I think that's what he's doing.
Yep.
It's my Premier League. They give me this. This is absurd.
You could hurt me a lot more than I could hurt you.
No, I just mean like the hands they gave us here is probably ridiculous.
Do you really have a hand?
I would not be taking the time otherwise.
Wow, he's really thinking about it. I wonder if he's just.
Nah, he's Hollywooding. Hollywooding for sure. It's so good to get to see this because I always wonder if he's Hollywooding me in these spots.
A win for Sorel there, and he adds to his chip lead. He has 473,000 chips. For those at the bottom of the league table, Vanessa Selbst, Dan Shak, Scott Seiver, and Antonio Esfandiari. They have a lot of work to do to climb the league standings for any chance to get onto our final table here in Montreal.
It's hard to be confident that when my hope is to be able to make the final table with the bottom stack and chips. So, it'll definitely be a mountain to climb, and there are very tough opponents. But, if I make the final table, I like my chances as much as anyone.
Honestly, I'm just going to try my best, try to win. If I win, things go well. If I don't, there's all sorts of things that could happen, but I'm just focused on trying to win.
I'm for sure the underdog at this point, and I'd love to come out of nowhere and just punish them. So I'm looking to really do well today and put myself in a position to try and win this thing.
Welcome back to Premier League Poker Season 7 from the Playground Poker Club in Montreal. Heat 6 is underway, and this is the deciding match where we find out who makes the final table, who is eliminated, and who goes through to the heads-up stage. Everyone is still in with a chance of qualifying, so while those on the sidelines can only watch on, their fate lies in the hands of the 8 at the table today. Let's get back to the action.
These are the current league standings. All 12 players still have a chance to get through. Remember, it's only the top 4 in the league who are guaranteed a seat at our final table after this match. The players highlighted are in this last league match, while the others can only watch on as their fates are decided. We always knew there was a chance that Vanessa Selbst could go out 8th.
Yep.
And right now, that's on the cards, and everyone will sit back and see if it happens.
Yeah, it's a real bummer because I think it would have been more exciting to just sit and watch her just bulldoze everyone. But maybe we'll still get that chance.
And she's keeping, this is the last time on the level, she's keeping now down to the min raise.
Yeah, and now she'll have a 15 big blind stack going into 2-4.
Esfandiari peeling off here. He's thinking, well, she can't hurt me that much. She can only knock me down to starting stack.
Wow, she's going to hurt him for 60,000.
Yeah, this is, and you were like, well, she can take 60,000,
yeah,
and she's
exactly,
about to.
Exactly, yep. She's going to get him here. This is just going to go check raise all in.
6 bet 3,000.
So,
I don't understand the small bet. I don't know why she would do that. I mean, yeah,
Can
you
he
do
pot control and lose
no,
less? He has to lose the whole thing.
No,
he
he's
has to.
100% check raising the flop.
I mean, it's like.
Let's do another question.
No, he's locked in.
C2 raised 13,000 total.
Yeah, she's just going to go all in.
He's locked in. We've already.
So, a bright spot in the patch of ivy for Vanessa Selbst.
You're at 20, so it's on me?
Yeah.
How many people are we doing?
Us 4.
4 of me at 4? Who's the last one?
She just called. That's fine.
called.
That's fine. There's no flush draws or anything out there.
That's a super blank.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, 2 of spades, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's just going to shove the turn and get snapped off.
Scott, if I came over there like all the way around and gave you a hug, would you accept it?
Of course.
That's what Phil Locke would do. I feel like I should do the same.
True.
And I'm going to do the exact same hug Phil Locke would do as well.
I don't even know what the Phil Locke
You
hug
have to
is.
sit there, and I have to do this.
Comes over the top.
Oh.
Like this.
Yeah, that is the
Like
Phil
he
Locke
just puts
hug.
his head down.
You just rest the head.
He rests it, and he sometimes he does a little this. No, that's
She has
my
no
own
idea how strong it is, but she's trying to suck chips out of him. Does she think she can, like, what if he has Queen 10? Would he have ever called? Are these the things she's thinking?
You know,
like, why is he in this hand?
Has over 20,000 people.
Call.
All in call.
Okay, there it is. No, but just get it on.
She's so happy to finally just one up somebody.
Yeah.
Nice hand.
I think it's the first time in 4 heats.
Yeah, let's see if she can.
First time.
Let's see if she can dodge
She
it.
has always been just one notch behind. Finally, Vanessa Selbst one notch ahead.
And that's good. It'll make for some fun TV
Yeah.
if she fades it.
30 what?
39.
And 118,000 in there, so Selbst.
Could have hurt a lot more if
39, yeah.
If she had chips. She's thinking if I had
I
chips,
lose every other pot before that.
I could have hurt you.
Yeah, now she has 30 big blinds though, which means she's going to get to open.
First level in the books, and as far as Premier League permutations go, the range is still uncapped. But with Vanessa Selbst, the short stack, and Sorel Mizzi, the big stack, you kind of think, guys, the odds are that the leaderboard is going to finish the way it is.
Yeah. All the other stacks, 7 through 2, are about the same anyway, so there's still a lot to pan out.
Seems like we can understand what everybody's up to, but Brian Rast has been, to me, a little bit of a mystery so far. Do you think he's just trying to stay ahead of the curve to keep his options open?
You know, I really haven't seen enough hands. I like outside of the Ace King 3-bet, everything else he's done seemed in line. I just think, like I said, I think the Ace King was slightly bad. His river bluff is fine, but
This is a standard call in regular poker on the button.
exactly, yeah.
Call 8,000.
It's funny, you see like a lot of mistakes being made pre-flop, like people being a little too loose, but post-flop, all the play is really, really passive. So if I were Vanessa, I would kind of pick up on that in a number of hands and just start applying tons of pressure post-flop, because it seems like post-flop's going very honest. Although pre-flop, these guys are still calling a little too wide. Yeah, this is interesting.
This hit Shak kind of in a weird way.
Yeah, but these are the kind of boards Shak likes to put a lot of money in, so...
I feel like he might go all in on this flop.
I could see like a bet of like 18,000
and then like
him
150.
Just, yeah, exactly.
Or something insane.
I actually think that's really likely.
18,000.
Let's see.
Yeah,
I'm going to go with 65 to fold or call.
Oh, he is keeping us passive.
Call.
I like that. We got a chance to turn some outs. I'm cheering for Vanessa. I want to see her get a stack.
He said
Poker fans want to see Vanessa Selbst in the big stack as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It's just
think
great.
about it. Like, is Dan going to be able
to?
to accomplish what I need from these other players going out?
Yes,
no,
Dan,
Vanessa.
well,
not as well. This is turning his hand into a bluff.
25,000. Fold.
It's good.
25,000.
Wow. And he's gonna sand trap Spider at Shak. He's gonna be invisible and use his image and the whole thing. And he's gonna.
Yeah, you know, and he
because no one wants to play a hand with a guy that you know always has it. You know, but he does it. It's Shak.
I think by far the toughest tournament I've ever played in was the last Premier League. I think it was all about the strategy. Obviously, I got good cards. I think I played well. When I went back and reviewed it, I didn't see myself getting lucky all that often.
All in.
He's going all in. That's gotten serious.
That last hand, I had to be the most tense time of my life. It was about 5:30 in the morning after we had played 6 days straight. Jesse May did say it, and Phil helped me, because I was swinging for the fences. You know, and I was swinging for the fences. You know, I really didn't feel like, you know, I had much more left in me, and I went for the win.
I have no idea what you have.
I was more nervous about having to continue to go on, because it really was a grueling week of poker.
He's called! It's over!
Nice shove, Dan.
Thank you. No pro has gone back-to-back in the Premier League. So for an amateur to be able to go back-to-back, you know, other than winning the main event of the World Series, I think there could be no achievement that I would want more than that.
Welcome back. This is the Playground Poker Club in Montreal, where we still have a full table of 8 for our last league match. It's getting exciting down on the felt with all of our 12 players still in with a chance of qualifying. Let's get back to your commentary team led by Jesse May.
Good modding crew.
So this is kind of panning out like we thought it would be. Almost every stack is just hanging on and is right at starting stack. So there's going to be some fireworks when the blinds are big. It's going to be like a lot of shoving and a lot of guys just trying to fold up the ladder.
Jason, who has surprised you the most of these 8 so far in that they've not done what you expected?
It's honestly been pretty close to what I expected outside of just everyone in general playing a little bit too loose pre-flop.
And why has Scott Seiver decided to shadow? I mean, obviously he's got a hand here, but it seems like in general he has flatted a lot of her opens.
That's just his style, is just to see flops. He plays very well post-flop, and he wants to, I don't know if it's necessarily right or wrong. He is towards the bottom of the ladder, and I think he's trying to play for a stack here. But he is not the kind of guy to create a bunch of variance pre-flop. He likes to make his decisions on turns and rivers.
Is Esfandiari all right to get in this hand with Queen 10 of clubs on the button? Is that hand strong enough?
Well, I feel like once Scott's come in, that should affect his decision.
It feels like I don't.
Yeah, I think he should just stay out of the way
Stay
here.
out of the way.
Okay,
it feels like stay out of the way because I mean that's why you just fold.
Oh, Vanessa's gonna
here
get
we
him.
go.
Oh wow, look at this.
Okay, I like that a lot.
She's super
This
durable.
saves Antonio. Antonio gets to get off the hook here.
What is King Rast
See, now
going to
this
do?
is why Rast got to stay out of the way with these hands. I mean, honestly,
as far as the Premier League is concerned, if he calls and wins, his permutations for making the top 4 open up.
They open up, but if he calls and loses, he is now the shortest stack at the table.
Permutations for him not even making the top 8.
That's the thing.
Making the top 8.
Open up.
Have Alex against the nuts.
Have the nuts, I'm not thinking about it, don't worry.
Really?
I'm more than willing to gamble 130 with the nuts.
I would think about it.
And if I had the nuts, I'd be more than willing to gamble. Which does not have 8-9.
I mean, this isn't for my tournament life, Vanessa.
I understand that, but...
And third is worth a lot to me, so... I know you have, like, king, queen, maybe queen 9, maybe...
He's finding the bottom of her rage.
I like ace-6 of spades a lot.
You like ace-6 of spades?
Yeah, he knows this is big decision.
Why do you like... Oh, you have ace-jack.
Of hearts.
Ace-jack of hearts?
Is it good? I'm going to be shocked if it's not good. But it's probably 60%. 60. If I win this pot. God, this one is close. Really close.
You should figure it out. You can't call.
He passed.
He passed.
Yeah, it's the right play.
Is a machine.
Like, literally, I think it's really close, Vanessa.
Rast is going to see the problem with playing hands. It's tough.
I really do.
I could just have you beat.
Yeah, Vanessa does not seem to think it's close.
I know she doesn't, but it's in her interest at this moment not to think it's close.
Couldn't have you beat?
I would bet a lot of money at even money, like the farm, that you don't have me beat.
There's tension on this table right now because you saw that Rast got a little bit hot when Vanessa
No
was
one
making
wanted to
comments
take
him.
that bet.
Yeah. I think Brian Rast's big point will be that when you look at how much it means to be in the top 4. I mean,
absolutely,
like,
it's huge.
Brian Rast is in a spot right now where if he ends up getting 6th or 5th in this heat and whittling down, and the dynamics don't work out, he's going to be disappointed in that cold.
11,000.
This is bad, I think, under the gun, even if you're...
Yeah, Dan Shak's kind of saying, hey, I got nothing to lose, just doing his thing, you know? I think Antonio should fold here.
Feels like a fold. It's a high card war, and 2s is a set war.
This table is a little bit like a popcorn kettle, and you know, it's just the pressure is going to keep getting there until one player gets knocked out, and then it all pops. But until that happens, it dials in.
Call.
Vanessa was a little handcuffed there and just decided to let go of her ace rag, mostly because of the open...
The Shakinator.
The Shakinator opening. It's just
I think that she's being very deceptive here, and she's tightening up her ranges on the fly, and I don't think that people are going to adjust correctly to it, and she's going to get a bunch of chips with good hands.
Yeah, good point.
And now, if Seiver wasn't in this hand, I actually think Esfandiari would try and steal it from Shak. They have that kind of relationship. But now, see, now Shak's going to win the whole thing.
I think that there's a chance he will. I also think that there's a reasonable chance that Scott will go ahead and check raise this flop. Yeah. Yes, so Scott.
I just wonder, wasn't there a chance that if Scott did check raise, that Shak would have just gone all in? Like,
yeah, he can definitely do that.
He can explode.
Yeah.
Like,
check.
Seiver's in a weird spot because now he has a value hand, but he's really thinking. I mean, Shak is selling the ace king so realistically.
Well, he kind of is, isn't he? I mean,
I would believe he has ace king,
it, right?
and I wouldn't even put him on aces. I would just say, oh, that's ace king.
Yeah, it's a weird spot because he knows that the jack is very good for Scott.
It's been a long time since
I mean, okay, at this point, I believe Shak is completely done. He's like, my opponent's holding on with a legitimate hand.
Wow, he might bluff now.
He might bluff.
Bomb it, baby. Bomb it. Come on,
no,
Shak.
his mind, on a turn, he was locked into I'm done with the hand. I feel it.
Yeah, but the ace, man,
the ace
that changes
is a
everything.
super card. He loves taking advantage of those super cards. He might get it through. Shak, you're so sick. This is what Shak has that we don't give him too much credit for. Now you're like, oh my god.
I think there's a reason, like a small chance that Seiver shoves. Yeah, he's just gonna fold.
He's Shak. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
It's the Shak.
It's a great hand. No, it's a great hand.
Queen
go,
7,
Dad,
Shak,
go.
attack.
Yeah, that's a great hand.
I'll tell you what. Could he sneak up on the rail, take this heat down, and make the final table? With that result for Shak, he has now moved up into second position with 379,000 chips. All of the Premier League players still have a chance to make the final table, but it is certainly getting tough here in this last league match.
Next time here in Montreal, Canada, Heat 6 continues with more exciting action as the players scramble for points to make the final table at the Party Poker Premier League 7.
Wow. It's been a fun Premier League.
Doesn't feel like you're happy with 1 point.
Got my Premier League record in jeopardy, Scott.
Cards are set no matter what you root for. They are what they are.
I was fooling to you, that's for sure.
Yes!